my intuitive people, welcome back to Crystal Intuition. So today we are going to be doing a reaction video on some TikToks, and we'll be exposing Christians and the Christian community. The reasoning for this is that I am a heathen witch. I also identify as pagan and I support the pagan community as well. Or, for some people I just call myself spiritual. For most of my Christian friends and family, they just use the term spiritual because a lot of people are scared of the word witch and stuff like that. So there's just a lot of things in the Christian community that has been bothering me as well as a lot of other people. So we're going to be reacting to a lot of TikToks today to expose the truth and give our opinions because every voice is important, okay? Everyone deserves to have a voice and to voice their own opinions. And everyone has the right to their own beliefs. And the thing with Christians is they tend to dictate what other people believe, and I just believe that's wrong. So today we're going to be watching 18 TikToks. And I'm also going to be doing a part 2, which is also another 18 TikToks. So stick around for part 2. Definitely subscribe if you want to stick around for part 2. And if you guys like this, I can keep it going. We can make another part. We can talk about part 3 at the end of this. So today we're using the new webcam, so the footage is looking a little better than my previous reaction videos. And we also have this new backdrop here. It's just gonna look a little weird in my reaction videos and gaming videos. I'm just gonna have it there like that. But in my other videos, you guys will be seeing it a little bit more up close, and it's gonna be positioned a little better. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, like, we're probably gonna laugh, cry, and get mad in this video. So, if your opinion differs from any of these videos, it's okay. It's okay to have your own opinions and beliefs. If your opinion and beliefs differ from any of these videos and you disagree with it, it's a free country. You can give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And you can comment in the comment section whatever you will, because whether you spread positivity or hate, it's still going to boost my video. So I don't really care what you comment down below. I don't take hate personally anyway, because I got a lot of hate, because some of these videos I actually posted on my personal Facebook, and a lot of people got offended, obviously, because we live in an emotionally weak world and everybody gets offended by everything. So it's a little cold where I am, so I have a little sweater on, and I got myself a nice cup of chamomile tea here, because I just feel we'll be needing that. This chamomile is a nice calming, soothing tea, and we're gonna need some calming energy for this video because this is gonna be a lot. But without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's just get this over with, because you guys like to see me suffer, you like my reaction videos. Today we're jumping into a very controversial topic, but again, disclaimer, if you disagree, it's fine. I really don't care if you disagree. So let's hop into the first video.
Did you know that there was a period in time in which Christianity ruled the world? It was known as the Dark Ages. There's also evidence to suggest that the scriptures, specifically Jesus' claims about how you don't have to worry about washing your hands because it isn't what you take into your body, but what you speak that leads to you getting ill, played a significant role in the spread of the bubonic plague. And then you've got the Salem witch trial, the Great Crusades, the Spanish Inquisition, etc., etc., etc. Christianity has changed the world into a significantly negative place, and then literally blamed everyone else for it. That way they can feel good about themselves while they offer soup to homeless people that only exist because of the world they've cultivated. And the sulfuric acid rain-filled clouds part from time to time, and a tiny ray of light shines through and illuminates a once beautiful planet. And they see this, they glimpse this beauty that once existed, and they say, look, this is what God is. He's shining his ray through. No, 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 no. It's the other way around. It is the universe, it is the sun, it is the planet that is beautiful. Your God is those clouds. He is the shadow looming over you that keeps you subservient. He is the darkness that keeps you blind. He is the he that keeps you sexist. He is the book burning that keeps you ignorant to the truth. There is not one horrible scenario that we face as a society today that cannot be traced back to Christianity. It claims to cultivate a higher degree of morality, the ultimate morality, and yet it demonstrates the exact opposite. I mean, like protecting pedophiles, child abusers, rapists, kind of opposite. And like all the time, contributing to the extinction of our species opposite. And I don't even blame you. It's not your fault that you have Stockholm Syndrome because you were raised as a child to believe that your abuser is your savior. But you have an opportunity now to break this cycle. We live in the information era. There are very, very few questions left that you could possibly ask that we have not figured out like the actual provable answer for, that you can just find out by doing a quick Google search. We all implore you to try secularism. Give it a shot. If it doesn't work, you can always go back. But try it. I mean, really try it. You might find that the world starts to make a lot more sense, and then you start developing your own morals. And the best part is, they're your morals. Worst case scenario, you discover yourself.
Okay, so I have a couple of things to say. First off, I love Scott's videos. I watch them all the time. He has some really interesting opinions. So I'm going to tell you guys, like, I actually grew up Christian. I was born into the society of Christianity, and when we are little, we're not allowed to question who we are or what we are. We're just forced into it. I used to cry, like I didn't want to go to church because it was boring. You know, you're a kid, you just want to have fun. But you were forced into it. And I started questioning my religion, like, very early on, and eventually I went into a little bit of an atheist era. You know, I didn't really know what I was or what I wanted to be. I just knew Christianity was utter BS and I didn't want to be part of it because they say one thing and then they do the complete opposite, and I could never understand that as a child. It was very confusing to me, and I had very bad experiences in the church, especially. I was bullied a lot by my peers there, you know, my fellow Christian people that I was supposed to do Sunday school with. They bullied me, looked down on me for all sorts of reasons, and then they claim, you know, they're all loving and we're not allowed to judge. And I just started questioning it, you know. So yeah, had really bad experience in the church, and I'm really glad I'm not a part of that anymore. No, no hate to anyone who is, though. I mean, you do you. I just think there's a lot of things wrong with the church, and these things need to be addressed because this also contributes to these toxic cycles within, you know, the whole society with parenting and child, you know, passed down. You know what? There's the part in the Bible where they say that the sins of the father is passed down to the son, and that is true. It is. And also, the part he said about that God is the dark clouds, that is more metaphorical, which he meant there, because I have nothing against God. God, the universe, soul, spirit, whatever, it's the same thing. Source energy. It's literally the same thing. And the Christians kind of like demonize their own God by saying he's vengeful and wrathful, you know, that he's gonna punish you when you do stuff wrong. But, you know, like, there's a lot of videos going more into detail about this, so I'm not gonna go on too long of a tangent on this. I just really, you know, I really agree with the things that Scott says there. And it's time to break the cycle. It's time to wake up and start thinking for yourself, because most Christians are just sheep people. They do without question because that's the way they grew up. So it's not really their fault. And the church profits so much, you know, it's insane how much the church profits off their congregations. And at the end of the day, what do you get out of it? I mean, most of what the church does is just fear mongers. I just don't think it's fair, because I used to be terrified. I cried myself to sleep at night thinking I was going to go to hell for, you know, just doing the slightest thing wrong. And it wasn't even sinful things. It was just like something dumb, like I forgot to wash a spoon and then I was like scared I was going to go to hell. It was just terrible. And, you know, leaving that behind is just so liberating. But yeah, people are too lazy to Google and do their own research. I always encourage people to do their own research, but yeah, that's not gonna happen because people want everything easy. So let's go to the next video.
Okay, Christians, this video is for you. All Christians, any denomination, I don't care. If you are a Christian who believes that you should vote and govern people based on your beliefs, then you need to pay attention to this. So I am 5 foot 8 inches. This is a fact. You can measure it with a ruler. It's proven. I'm kind of tall. Now, a belief is trust, faith, or confidence in something. That is the dictionary definition. Nowhere in the definition of the word belief is the word fact, meaning a belief is something that is not actually proven. It's just something that you have trust, faith, or confidence in. Imagine, if you will, that all of the 90s kids in the United States band together and create this movement where we decide the 90s were the greatest generation, to the point where we believe this so strongly that we think that this needs to govern our society. Now, obviously, there's people out there that believe that the 70s, the 80s, even the 2010s are the greatest generation, but they're wrong. So we all band together and we decide we're going to build buildings all across America where we could all get together and celebrate the 90s. We're going to sing worship songs to NSYNC. We're going to erect statues all over of Boys II Men. We are going to make our schools say the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under Britney Spears. We are further going to govern and say that you are no longer allowed to listen to music unless it's on a Discman. And then we make laws that say kids can only play with trolls and Tamagotchis and no other toys. Then let's say we take it one step further and we ban schools from teaching about the 70s, the 80s, and the 2010s, because we feel that the only people allowed to have rights are people who firmly believe the 90s were the best generation. If this sounds ridiculous to you, that's because it is. Because the idea of governing a group of people based on your personal beliefs is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Do you want to know what's not a belief? Being black, being indigenous, being a person of color, being a refugee, being trans, being gay, being anyone in the LGBTQ plus community. But somehow your belief has more rights and is taking away rights from these people. We are actual human beings, and your belief has more rights than us. This is why we have separation of church and state, because your warped, toxic religion does not deserve the right to control human beings anymore. You guys can still worship 7 days a week if you want. You guys can talk about Jesus whenever you want. You can share about Jesus on social media. Your kids still learn about the history of Jesus and some of the Bible in public schools. They still pledge allegiance to one nation under God. Yet for some reason, we're scared and we can't talk about Black history. We can't talk about racism, which is all very real. Now you're trying to pass a bill where they can't talk about LGBTQ plus history or even talk about the LGBTQ plus community in school. I'm so fed up.
Yeah, I'm fed up too, because this has just reached a point of absurdity, to be honest. I don't know how many of you heard about that bill that they're trying to pass, because all of the freaking governments are just trying to pass bills that's literally just BS, that literally doesn't help the country or the people in any kind of way. I don't really know what their gain is, but, they're targeting spiritual people like me, like the people they tend to see as more woohooey. They think we're like freaking Satanists, and it includes the Satanists too. Satanist witches, spiritual people, the whole LGBTQ plus community, and also some certain cultures and stuff like that too. They're targeting a lot of us on social media platforms. Are starting to lessen the type of content that gets pushed to the For You page feed that falls under some of these categories, and it's actually really deeply sad, because just because you believe something doesn't mean everyone has to believe it exactly the same way. And that's the problem with most Christians, is they believe that their religion's the only religion that's right. Meanwhile, there is like 50 other religions that believes different things. Some of them are actually a little similar, but only they're right. And what's really hurtful to me is that in schools they mostly just teach Christianity. Like we used to pray, to the Christian God in schools and stuff. What about all the 50 other religions? Or what about people who don't have any religion, like atheists and stuff? And then when you are spiritual, or you're a witch, or you're a Satanist, your parents get called to school and stuff like that. I've seen that happen. When you don't conform, then you are basically prosecuted, and that's just the way things are. I say BS with that, and it's time we need to voice our opinions. That is why I'm making these videos, because we need to stop letting people tell us what to do and who to be and what to be, and start embracing who we are, and stop being sheep people and doing what the trend is and doing what trendy is. I don't even have a niche on my YouTube channel. I honestly don't care to have a niche or a category. I hate labels, because labels create division, okay? So when you start adding labels, then you're starting things like war, okay? Because initially, like black and white, what makes the one better than the other, okay? Like, or pink and purple, or, mushrooms or carrots, which one's better? Like oranges and apples, like, just because one's better for you doesn't mean it's better for everyone, okay? I just think they need to, like, just be a little bit more lenient in public places and schools with belief systems and stuff, okay? Because as long as you're not really physically harming anyone, then why is things such a problem, okay? And you don't need a book to, like, give you morals. If you need a book to tell you right from wrong, then you lack empathy, okay? You don't lack religion, you lack empathy. So, honestly, if you can't freaking discern right from wrong, then there's something wrong with you personally, not, or it's not because of religion. And I've seen evil Christians, I've seen good Satanists, and the world's just upside down, and I just feel like I'm in this fantasy freaking world because nothing makes sense anymore, because people are just full of shit and everything's just crazy. So yeah, I don't know, make of that what you will. Let's just hop into the next video.
Well, that was a lot of words to say. I've never read the Bible, but let's dive right in. Not only does the Bible condone rape and slavery, it provides a framework for it to operate within. For example, Exodus 21:7-8 states that when a man sells his daughter as a slave, she's not allowed to go free every 6 years, as the male slaves are. If she doesn't satisfy her owner, he must allow her to be bought back again. So what this means is the Bible allows men to sell their daughters into sex slavery for life. And if the daughters don't please the man that they're sold to, dad gets the opportunity to buy her back first, but isn't under any obligation. This framework gets pretty detailed, such as further down in the chapter where it discusses what to do if a slave dies or is injured from being beaten. Spoiler alert, if they recover within a day or two, it's all good since the slave is considered to be the property of the owner. Now, if you were a Hebrew male slave, you were freed after 6 years. But if your master gave you a wife during that time period and you had children with her, they don't get to go free with you. They have to remain slaves. Speaking of women and children, you should have a look at Numbers 31, 8-17. Here, God commands the Israelites to attack the Midianites, which they do, and they kill all the men and plunder the villages. Then they take captive the women and children. However, when they get back to the camp, Moses, the prophet and mouthpiece of God, is furious at the military commanders, demanding to know why all the women are still alive. He then orders them to kill the little boys and any woman who has ever slept with a man. Only the little girls and virgins were allowed to live. I wonder why. We see another situation in Judges when they're ordered to go in and kill all the males and all the women who have ever known a man, and are allowed to keep the 400 virgins for themselves as wives. For clarification, if everyone is killed except for the virgins, and the virgins are forced to marry the men who wiped out their families, they aren't wives, they're sex slaves. Or what about Deuteronomy 22:28-29, where if a man rapes a girl who isn't engaged, he has to pay the father 50 shekels of silver and marry her. In other words, she has to become the sex slave of her rapist for life. And of course, I'd be remiss not to point out the racist element here as well. Leviticus states you can purchase foreign children as forever slaves, just passing them down to your own children as a permanent inheritance. However, you're only allowed to treat foreigners this way, not other Israelites. So before you go mouthing off about what the Bible does or doesn't say, you might want to try fucking reading it.
Yeah, okay. So personally, a lot of people tell me to go read my Bible when they hear I'm a witch. Meanwhile, I know probably more about it than they do. I've also read parts of the Bible that were taken out, like the Book of Enoch, which was the biggest book that was taken out, and it gives you a little bit more context. Also, the Bible's not accurate anymore at all. Like, it was changed and translated. Do me a favor, okay? Go to Google Translate, okay? Type in a sentence, any sentence, it doesn't matter, at least just form one sentence, okay? Then go translate it into a different language. Do this 3 or 4 times, okay? Change it back to the original language and see if that sentence stayed exactly the same. If it did, post down in the comment section down below, because I really want to know, because me and my fiance actually did this for fun, because we typed in a sentence, translated a couple of times, and we just got the most hilarious stuff back, okay? So the Bible is similar, okay? I'm not saying that the Bible is hilarious, it's quite dark and it should be rated 18 because there's a lot of things in there that's not meant for children, and I can't believe we're teaching that things to the children. And I'm not even just talking about all the violence and stuff like that, but there's also a lot of sexual things in the Bible. So yeah, this girl makes an excellent point here, because yes, the Bible does talk about rape and condoning it. For someone who's personally been through such an experience and ordeal, if I lived back then, I would just unalive myself, to be honest. Seriously, who needs this crap, seriously? But yes, if you truly read your Bible, like truly, I mean, I don't think any Christian read their Bible cover to cover, that knows every sentence, that can quote verse by verse. I mean, I can quote verses. Does that make me a Christian? No, because I am not a Christian. I'm a witch. I'm a heathen. I am not a Christian. So just because I can quote verses, I mean, a demon or a devil can quote verses. Okay, they can quote Bible verses that stands in the Bible, where the devil allegedly came to Jesus and he quotes some verses to him to try and get him to lower his guard or whatever. But yeah, just because you can quote a verse doesn't make you righteous. It doesn't make you a better person. Just having knowledge doesn't make you a good person. Just doing mindless prayers doesn't make you a good person. You know, what's in your heart and what you truly mean, that makes you a good person. In witchcraft, we learn that intention holds a lot of power, and your thoughts as well. Thoughts, everything is first created in the mind. Okay, so your thoughts is the most powerful thing about you, not your words, not your actions, because those are just things that come after your thoughts. Your thoughts are important, so that's where the real stuff comes in. And I think if hell actually existed, then everyone would go to hell. All of us. All of us would go there. There's not one person worthy of saving on this planet. Maybe the animals and nature itself, but no human being alive is worthy of being saved. Period. And yet hell theoretically doesn't exist. The way I believe is, I believe in reincarnation. We all go through a period of hell. Like Dante's Inferno believed, you know, we all go through purgatory, hell. It's just stages of life. And like the Eastern religions believe that you go up or down a level in your life based on how you lived your life. So yeah, I believe in reincarnation very much. I did past life regression, so I actually had physical experiences to back that. But yeah, physical evidence, however, witchcraft is actually backed by science a lot. So yeah, do your own research, like I said. Let's just hop into the next video.
A lot of you like to call the Bible a fairy tale. Then why don't you read it to your children at night?
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. I will bring all the nations together to fight Jerusalem. The women will be raped, half the people will be taken away as captives. You see right here, honey, it says that if a man ever rapes you, you must marry that man and he can never divorce you. Do you understand? Isn't the Lord wonderful? A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. If a person does not beat his children, he does not love them. Every child is full of foolishness, but beatings can get rid of it. Then there's a really fun one where people want to rape the angels at Lot's house, and Lot's like, whoa, no, don't do that, but hold on, I have 2 daughters, which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. And don't worry, if none of these verses set your kids straight, here's a whole bunch of ways that the Bible justifies how to murder children. We're so lucky that God gave us this book.
Because that was a tad sarcastic and very, very dark at the same time. I don't even know what to say about it. Yeah, child abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse and sexual violence is the most freaking common crimes that we have. You know, like murder and theft even. Like, we have so many crimes. In South Africa, personally, rape is the #1 crime here. yeah, that's just wonderful to know that. It's it sucks, seriously. And it's the people misunderstand it. It's not just even women who gets sexually assaulted and abused. Men go through the same things, just men don't talk up about it because people don't think of men as like the same as females. And I just think that gender inequality situation is bullshit because I'm not saying that we're equal at all. I'm just saying that we're all human and we all have emotions and feelings, and it's very, very easy to find yourself in a dark situation like that. And it sucks. And you know what sucks more is that Christianity actually condones a lot of that, like you just saw. Yeah, it's just freaking terrible. I just can't believe that people missed all of that information. Like I said, do you really know your Bible?
Your favorite verse is Proverbs 37:13, where God says he's laughing at the wicked because their suffering is coming. Let me guess, you think I'm the wicked in this scenario. And you think my day that's coming is when I go to hell to be tortured forever? And you really wanted me to know that this is your favorite verse. No, go on. I just wanted to say it out loud for you. I wanted you to hear it back. Because you just seem really confused in my comment section. You seem really confused about the problems we have with your religion. May I suggest reading back your own words? Just a thought.
Yeah. Like I said, everything is first formed in the mind. I just think a lot of people say or type things and they don't really listen to it, because you only really understand the context of your words if you said it out loud. A lot of the times I think of something doesn't seem that bad, then I say it out loud and then it just comes off way off. Okay, so that's true. Also, what kind of pisses me off is these people. I'm not just talking about Christians, but I'm just talking about all of these haters, all of these people who don't really agree with your content. Then they come onto your content and they just post a bunch of bullshit in your comment section. But I'm going to tell you a secret. It doesn't matter if you spread positivity or hate in the comment section. You still help the creator of that post by interacting with that post in any way. So you're doing more good than harm anyway by commenting a load of bullshit. But yeah, Christians just have this belief where they think if anyone doesn't believe what they believe, they're going to burn in the fiery depths of hell, okay? I've been seeing a lot of posts like that on freaking TikTok about the volcano thing. I don't know how many of you saw it. I couldn't freaking find it again, but that was hilarious because they honestly think there's a fiery pit where you go when you die and after you did a bunch of bad things. Besides, not believing in God doesn't make you a bad person, okay? Not believing in Christianity doesn't make you a bad person. Also, where I questioned religion significantly is when my cousin turned atheist. He's the nicest person I know, okay? He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. He's very smart, very intellectual. He's so intelligent and so creative, and he's just overall an amazing person. And then people always said that if you don't believe in God or Christianity, then you're going to hell. And I was like, but why? He's an atheist, he doesn't believe in all of that. Why, if he doesn't accept Jesus as his Lord and Savior, why is he going to hell? He's like the best person I know. And I know Christians who judge and hate and gossip and lie and do all sorts of messed up things. Why would someone so good go to hell? And that's kind of where it started clicking in my head that, Christianity, being a Christian doesn't make you a good person. It's what's in here. And I think that's where people freaking, I don't really know, they just don't understand the concept that you don't need a book to tell you right from wrong. That's like an eternal internal compass, that's something you're supposed to know. It's called empathy, and it's something that most people should be born with. But I don't know, I question it sometimes.
This has to be one of the most ignorant things I've ever read. Jesus has suffered more than anyone? How about the other thousands and thousands of people that have been crucified, or those that lived during the Holocaust, or the bubonic plague, or kids have been sex trafficked, or people who have to listen to Trump?
It's kind of a little funny how he ended it off, but he makes a really, really good point. Jesus has been through the most suffering in the world. Through the most suffering in the world. Let me tell you a little something. Being sexually abused and assaulted is worse than death. I would have rather died than been through that experience in my life. If that ought to happen again, I would just unalive myself on the spot instead of going through such a horrific ordeal. This is hands down, okay? There's like farm murders and things in South Africa, stuff so gruesome, like they take an iron, what you iron your clothes with, burn the people's faces off while they're still alive, scoop the eyes out or stab the eyes out with any sharp object. When I was in school, they talked about this girl who was in my school. She was in my school. She was in my class, but the teacher told us the story about her and her mother that got sexually abused in their home. They were just in their home doing their own business, and then a couple of men, came storming in while the gate was still open. They grabbed the little girl, beat her, and then they beat the mom, and then they started sexually abusing the mom, all of them. There was I think 4 to 6 of them. I can't really remember. It was a really long time ago. Then after they were done, they stuck things up there, like broken broomsticks, broken glass, and you know that fork thing that you barbecue with? In South Africa we call it braai, but you know that thing you barbecue with, that fork thing? Stuff like that they stuck up there, and they made the little girl watch. Okay, and I mean I was probably about what? Let's say 11-ish when that happened. I'd say 10, 11, something like that. Somewhere. I mean, I wasn't 13 yet. I just remember I was under 13, so I was probably around 11. And that story haunted me so much. Another girl in Cape Town here, she was sexually abused by a couple of men as well. Afterwards, she was put in a dog house and burned alive. South Africa is a wonderful place. This is our number one crime, is sexual abuse, and honestly, I just want to give a big shout out and support to any woman or even any man that's been through such an ordeal, because it's awful. It's worse than death. And if you've been through it, be strong. It gets better. Since I've met my fiance, life has just been more magical. I never thought I'd trust a man again in my life, but if you guys want to hear the full story, I'll link my video down below on the truth about my past, and yeah. So I'm not gonna go into that before I freaking burst out in tears. Let's just move on.
You've got something that if you're a witch you need to see, but it involves a trigger warning. Watch this video.
We got first and last names of 6 witches that are in our church. And you know what's strange? 3 of you are in this room right now.
You remember what I said? What was he going to go after next?
3 of you in the room right now. You better look in my eyeballs. We ain't afraid of you, you stinking witch. You devil worshiping Satanist witch. We cast you out in the name of Jesus Christ. We break your spells. We break your curse. We got your first name. We got your last name. We even got an address for one of you. You so much as cough wrong, and I'll expose you in front of everybody in this tent, you stinking witch. You were sent to this church to destroy us. You were sent to this church to lure us in. You were sent to this church to cast spell. Listen, some of you been sick because you befriended that witch. 2 of you in my wife's ladies' Bible study, and you know who you are, and we gonna ask you to get out, or I'll expose you in front of everybody. We got all 6 of their names. All 6 of them. 2 of them had already been confirmed before that thing ever even said it. First and last name. This chick is new to our church and don't know none of you. So you got a choice. You can leave with your spells all by yourself. Or I'll show up next Sunday with a stage full of brooms. And I'll give you one and I'll fly your tail up out of this place in the name of Jesus. But we ain't playing your spell casting, witchcraft, nonsense, sage burning games. Everybody okay? Witches are like, nope. And your little dog, too. You're out, witch.
So that was Greg Locke, who recently had a book burning. And as you can see, he is now starting to rile up his rhetoric against witches, anyone that's used sage, energy workers, all of that. He's creating a panic. And what do you want to bet that whoever he's accusing within his congregation either A, doesn't exist, or B, is innocent of those charges and he's about to dox them? Either way, he's creating a panic that can be used and to go on the attack with. And this is somebody that just had a book burning. So it's not like he's outside of the realm of violence or stirring up a riot or creating problems that could end up with.
So yeah, I don't know how many of you guys have heard of the whole Greg Locke fiasco. It's been a huge deal in the witchy community because we honestly feared for that people's lives because he openly threatened people. Witches are still people. We're not freaking some fantasy character that you see in movies and stuff. Like, I think he's got fantasy and reality mixed up. Besides, the thing with the broom, witches never really flew on brooms. The whole history behind it is kind of like witches used to rub psychedelics on the end of broomsticks and insert it in their genitalia, and then they got high, which is the flying metaphor. That's the history of broomsticks. It's more scientifical than all that woohooey stuff. Like, seriously, it's not like we can shoot like firebolts out of our hands or have a wand like Harry Potter just shooting all of these sparky colors out of it. Seriously, most witches just work with herbs in nature, and you know, like me, I don't even know what to freaking say, but I do wanna quote a Bible verse. I saved it on my phone because I'm scared I'm not gonna like recollect it, right? It's literally the only Christian picture on my phone, by the way. But I had to save it for this particular occasion. So we have Matthew 7, verse 15 to 16. Beware of the false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Also, if you haven't watched that new movie Unholy yet, I suggest you do that because that's just really great context on everything I'm talking about in these videos as well as all the other people here. But yeah, false prophets, it's a really big issue lately. And, you know, all of these false churches and stuff, and I don't even think he deserves to call himself a reverend. Seriously, like, a reverend or a priest or whatever, they are supposed to care about their congregation. And, I mean, shouldn't they be, like, applauding the witches, like, for coming to church and for trying to be Christian and, you know, like, maybe come to salvation or what the heck ever. But no, they're threatening them, prosecuting them, or attempting to either way. But yeah, he's gone on a lot of tangents, and I could probably make a whole video on this guy alone. This guy's logic, just, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, this is the most dumb logic I've ever heard. He doesn't have a lot of intellectual freaking wisdom to be there on a pedestal freaking preaching all of this bullshit to people. But it doesn't end there. Watch this next one.
I'm telling you, your kid could be demonized and attacked, but your doctor calls it autism. I don't care if you stand or not. I don't care if you leave or not. I'm telling you, there's deliverance in the name of Jesus Christ for your children and their children's children. There's deliverance in that. Ain't no such diagnosis in the Bible.
Of course there's no such diagnosis in the Bible. They didn't have the medical science back then that we have now. I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't even know how Google works. Autism alone, it's actually recently been like Autism Awareness Day, and it's a very, very, I had two disabled brothers. Both of them passed away. I'm still planning on making a video on that, but I'm still a little sore and emotional. But yeah, just disability as a whole is just such a big deal. and it needs to be talked about more. And autism alone has just gone through so many people thinking they know, like there's 100 Google searches speaking about autism, what autism actually is, and then there's like one article that said that vaccines causes autism, and then people just believe that one post even though there's hundreds of other posts claiming otherwise, and now no, it's not autism, it's demons. And the audience, oh my gosh, the audience, it's like, our children are demonically possessed. They don't have epilepsy, they don't have autism, they don't have any type of disability. It's just demons. Woo! Like, woohoo! Like, it's not like fearful, for their children or whatever. It's like, woo! Clapping hands, cheering. Like, seriously? How dim-witted can you be? And seriously, like, do you know how rare actual demonic possession is? It's like freaking not even 1% of the entire population of the world gets possessed. Why do you think they make so many movies about it? Why do you think when there is an actual possession, they make such a big deal about it? There's articles, everything. It's because it's so freaking rare. And it cannot happen without consent, okay? Demons are a lot like vampires in that way. They need consent from the person. So, that guy doesn't know a freaking thing about demonic possession at all. Being irreverent, you'd think he'd have a little bit more information on demons. Yeah, questionable information, but yeah, nonetheless, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever watched was those videos of Greg Locke, seriously, because he's honestly, I'm considering just responding with these things with humor, but autism is a very serious condition, and I just don't think it's something that you need to be going around spreading all this BS about, It's been Autism Awareness Day like a couple of days ago. I freaking remember seeing posts on Facebook and stuff about that, and then there's a guy like this spreading shit like this. It's really sad. Christians are very anti-disability, seriously. They're like, they believe they can cure you, and no matter what illness you have, they can heal you, and shit doesn't work that way. Your soul chooses to incarnate in a certain way to achieve a certain goal. It is freaking, I don't want to go into that conversation, seriously. But yeah, there's always someone that's gonna find something wrong with everything, and especially Christians, they tend to do that a lot.
Is God opposed to abortion?
There's no ban on abortion in Islam. There's no ban on abortion at any point, for any reason, by any method.
All right, okay.
In Judaism, abortion is permitted, and where the pregnant person's life is at stake, it's required because the health and well-being of the pregnant person comes first.
Okay. Jamie. A little more complicated.
Bad news. Well, let's bear in mind that what I'm about to say is a teaching created by men who are ostensibly celibate, who have no inroads or connection to the lives of women because they do not have wives, they do not have daughters.
Great start.
Yeah. And the Catholic Church teaches that in almost every circumstance, abortion is murder.
Is it in the Bible?
No.
No. The Bible doesn't not once mention abortion. And yes, they had ways back then to do it with herbs. A lot of people sought out medicine women and people like me, witches and stuff like that, spiritual healers, made teas, herbal teas and things with certain herbs to try and abort the pregnancy. And with this whole anti-abortion whole culture, it's just wrong, okay? Because it's created by men, and I don't think men should have an opinion on women's bodies and what we should and shouldn't do and can and cannot do with our bodies. Once they successfully for 9 months carried a baby inside and naturally gave birth, they have no right to speak on it. Now, yeah, I don't ever had my own child, but since I'm a woman and I've had quite the series of painful periods and excessive hormone problems that caused a lot of pain and issues with my reproductive organs, I just feel that any type of women just have more right to freaking talk about this than any man. And most of that anti-abortion people are men. Most of them are men. Most of those people holding up the flyers and stuff is men. Now, I'm gonna ask you this. If the woman was sexually abused, she's still forced not to get an abortion? Because it's murder. Even though she didn't want it, it was literally forced. Her free will was taken away, and are gonna, like, ruin her entire life for what? And then on the other hand, you get, like, children that gets pregnant, like minors. They're not ready for the responsibility of parenthood, okay? A lot of adults aren't even freaking ready for the responsibility, but that's a whole other conversation. But what about that? I mean, I heard a story a little while back about an 11-year-old girl. There was a court case, okay? She was pregnant. She was sexually abused, raped multiple times by someone. I didn't really read the full article, but there was an entire court case. And they ruled in favor with the people who think abortion's murder. She was not allowed to have an abortion. 11-year-old girl was forced to be a mother. Yeah. So, why? And then people who can financially not support a child. Would you rather that child suffer and probably go to bed starving every night because their parents can't afford food and anything? Why not rather get an abortion? I don't think abortion should be considered such a terrible thing. I mean, it's our bodies, it's our choice. And yeah, it's the way reincarnation works. If that soul of that baby is meant to be on this earth, he will incarnate in another body with another family. It's your choice whether you want to take that responsibility or not. It's your life, it's your soul, it's your body. Who the heck has the right to speak on that? So there you have it, folks. The Bible never mentioned abortion in any time or place. People they don't read their Bibles and then they preach to you what you can and can't do with your body, and what you can and cannot be in general. Just BS if you ask me.
We still needed to be careful about candy because witches and stuff like that can pray over the candy and put curses on the candy, things like that. And it's just something that we need to be careful of.
What? Curse the candy? Why would we do that? It would ruin the meat.
I really love Marshall's videos. I will link his stuff down below if you're interested, because he's just really awesome. He's one of the main witchy YouTubers I follow. He's on TikTok and Instagram and everything. You can go check him out. I'm just gonna link his YouTube channel. You can go find his other medias by yourself on his YouTube channel. But yeah, I loved his sarcastic humor there. That woman made an entire 3-part series last Halloween where she talked about how witches cursed the candy and that there was witches in her church, and she kind of reminds me of Greg Locke a little bit, but there was witches in the church and they were there to corrupt and deceive everybody, and yeah, that witches were gonna magically curse the candy. I mean, I'd rather freaking eat it than curse it and give it to kids. I mean, why would I want to freaking harm kids? If I want to harm anyone, I'd harm people like you, but us as witches, most of us believe harm none. Do as you will, but harm none. I've never harmed anybody with my witchcraft. Considered it a lot. But I'm an empath and I know better. I've never really done curses and shit like that, not even to my abusers. I believe karma will get them eventually. I've seen karma play out a lot of times. So karma will get them.
Anybody else think it's super weird that the Christians who take the teeth their kids lose and put them under the pillow for the tooth fairy and make birthday wishes off their birthday candles, decorate Christmas trees, leave offerings for Santa, and dress up like the Easter Bunny will tell you that you're going to hell for practicing witchcraft? Or is that just me?
Yeah, I totally agree. Everybody does something that can be related to witchcraft. And yeah, a lot of traditions actually. But yeah, the Christians actually stole a lot of the pagan holidays and claimed it as their own. For example, Easter used to be Ostara, Halloween used to be Samhain. Some people pronounce it Samhain, but it's actually Samhain. And but the Christians don't really celebrate Halloween, but they still changed the name because they wanted the pagans out of the picture, which is the main reason they changed all of the holidays. Christmas is Yule, or the winter solstice, and then Valentine's Day is Lupercalia, or Lupercalia for some people, but yeah, Valentine's Day has a really dark origins. You should Google it. It's the colors of the red and white. You don't want to know the real origins of that. My fiance got really grossed out when I explained it to him, because Valentine's Day was not too long ago. I explained the true origins and he almost puked. So yeah, it's fun. I could make an entire video on the original holidays of the pagans that was stolen by the Christians and then renamed so that they can get like the pagans out of the picture, because we were evil and we did so much terrible stuff. Nonetheless, what all the terrible stuff they did. And yes, it's very interesting that they took a lot of things that actually had really dark origins, even their whole religion has dark origins, and then they tried to make it beautiful and aesthetic. Then they still fearmonger, so it doesn't really freaking even matter. But yeah, listen to this one.
The 10 Commandments of Republican Jesus. Feed only those who look like you and can pass a drug test. Give your money to those who are wealthy and already with privilege. Blessed are those who take away health care from the sick. Thou shalt not kill. Unless they're wearing a hoodie, playing with a toy gun, or sleeping in their own bed, and you're a cop. Do not give them aid, for their country is a shithole. If they are in need and strangers, deport them. Punish those from other nations who seek asylum and throw their children in cages. Cheat on every one of your wives, pay a porn star hush money, and bid on a preteen girl's virginity, all while calling yourself a Christian. Collude with foreign dictators and sworn enemies of your homeland, and above all, do unto others before they can do unto you.
I don't even know what to say about that. That video was just so accurate that I just had to freaking share it on here, because it's just scary how that's kind of what the world's like. And Christians, they contradict themselves and then they think they freaking know better. I mean, and they have just this thing where they think that one sin is somehow above another, and that the context of the sin doesn't really matter. That so kind of like they think it's evil if you're a witch and you have tattoos and stuff like that. But it's okay to judge people, and it's okay to have piercings, because a lot of people have those, like earrings, piercings. So yeah, it's really funny how they can dictate which sins are acceptable and which are not. I really want to know who's picking them out. So that's really interesting. Also, like makeup. That's changing your appearance. So they want to like diss on the LGBTQ plus community, on the transgenders, and on people who get plastic surgery, but makeup is just exactly the same thing. You're changing your appearance to look different. I mean, you're not embracing your God-given beauty or whatever. And also like coloring your hair, or even cutting your hair. I think there was a part in the Bible who said that was evil, and you're not allowed to cut your hair, and men weren't allowed to shave their beards. But it's fun. We're just accepting some sins and demonizing others completely for our own personal gain. That's what Christianity is all about. Okay, so I'm gonna have to scoot over a little bit for this one. This one's a little bit bigger, but here we go.
My take on Christians not being afraid. Another great day that the Lord has made that I don't deserve because I'm sinful, wretched, and evil. Oh, hey, Carrot Slayer. Hey, friend that I've been trying to proselytize that I judge really heavily off of their spiritual beliefs, but I say that I love anyway. Hey, me and the gang are going out tonight. Do you want to go grab a few drinks with us? I'll have a few sips, but I can't get drunk because then that'll enter a doorway to Satan. Yeah, no worries. We can do something else. Like, do you want to watch a movie? Maybe like a Disney movie? You know I would, but I hear that Disney is a part of occult practices, and that will enter a doorway to Satan. Okay. What about Cards Against Humanity? Demonic. Want to talk about our Enneagrams? Demonic. Want to go fight for racial equality? Demonic. Do you want to do some like yoga then? Incredibly demonic. You know what? It's fine. How about we just go get some food? I would, but I have to wear a mask and I don't live in fear.
That video was just like gold. That was amazing. That was really well done. And yeah, that's Christians just demonize everything. And by the way, I still want to know how yoga is evil. Can someone really explain that to me? Yoga is exercise and stretching. Can someone explain how that's evil? It's just like saying dancing's evil. Although they did actually believe that at a time. Okay. I just want to know how certain things are evil, seriously. I believe everything has the potential to be good or evil. It just depends on how you use it and whose hands it's in, and everything has the potential to be good or bad. Yeah, so, that is the last video. That's the end of this video. I just want to give a major thanks to all of these creators of all of these videos. Please go check out their original videos and support them, because I just think all of them make a lot of great content. I follow a lot of them on TikTok, and they have really great opinions, and I really agree with most of it for the most part. And I think just the truth has to be talked about a lot more. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments, whether it's hate or positive, because you're still supporting me, and people who hate tend to talk a lot. They tend to post a lot of things in the comment section, so the more comments I get, the more my video gets pushed by the algorithm. So yeah, definitely comment down below. I don't care what you comment down below. I don't care if it's positive or bad, like, it's helping me out. So yeah, and all of the views as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down too. I don't really care. It's a free country. It's a free world. And we're all allowed to have our own beliefs and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next video, because there's definitely going to be a part 2. And if you guys want to see a part 3 after that, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys.